I remember moments of kindergarten. That girl that sat on the other side of the teeter totter, and I thought we were going to have fun, and then she jumped off of it, and
Jumped
then
up.
I hit my pelvis on the floor, and then it rocked my trust in any human being for the rest of my life.
Well, she'll go to hell. That's
She will go to
fine.
hell. She's there now. Welcome to the TikTok influencers you really should know about. I'm your host, Christine Blosdale. In this podcast, you'll get to meet TikTok creators who inspire, motivate, and entertain. Get ready to discover the influencers you may not have heard of yet, but you definitely should know about. Welcome back to the TikTok influencers you really should know about. Hello, everybody. I'm Christine Blosdale. I am a media coach and I help people create TikToks, but also podcasts, books, you name it, anything to do with multimedia. And I'm really tickled about today's show. I was so happy because I've been looking forward to this. This content creator, who I think is an influencer that you should know about, is someone who I've stumbled across, and I just enjoy everything that she puts out. Her name is Karen Rontowski, and she is a psychic stand-up and tarot. Is it tarot or tarot?
Whatever. I'm not picky. The cards are not picky. Tarot is how I say it, but I have that hard New England accent.
Okay. So you're a tarot reader, manifester, but she is funny, funny, funny. Welcome to the show, Karen. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you calling me an influencer. I don't think I've been under the influence, but I have never been called an influencer.
Well, this is what I enjoy so much, is that you blend some of my favorite things together, right? I love humor. I love good humor. I love humor, and I do also. I mean, I have 5 planets in Scorpio, so I'm a little, I love the cards. I love the cards. I love astrology. I love psychic folks, mediums, you name it. So you
Out
just
of the
have this.
box.
You have this beautiful blend of all this goodness. So tell our wonderful audience, how did you get started? Well, how did you get started? Because you got comedy on one side and the tarot on the other. What came first?
Comedy really came first. Comedy was what I was doing. And when I was about 24, I found this fantastic reader in Escondido, California. And she said to me, "You know, you're really psychic. You should get a deck of cards." And she would show me as she read, this means that. And I didn't really think I was psychic, but the way she explained the cards, I was like, okay, if I can learn everything about these, every color, every line, every little detail, and I went at it at a very like sort of scientific memorizing way,
Mm.
and that just made my psychic abilities like explode. So I had already been doing stand up a little bit, and then it's really kind of funny because when I talk to people, they're afraid to start their business or afraid to read for strangers, and I actually brought the cards on stage in front of a live audience before I was doing readings for other people, because I guess that's where my life lives, on that stage, you know?
It's fantastic. And you also have to have a really good memory, because back in the day I tried also doing stand-up comedy, and it was the most nerve-wracking, painful thing I've ever gone through. Right? I can ad lib. I can interview anybody, right? I can do that. But to memorize something is really hard. And then you're using, you have to be thinking so fast. Or I mean, maybe it's not thinking, but somebody asks you a question. These are all live questions too in the audience that people ask you. And some of the craziest stuff. We're going to play
Yeah.
a clip in just a second so people can get a feel for it. But so when somebody asks you a question, does it just pop in your head what to say? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it really does because you have to figure I've been doing stand up maybe 30, I would say 37 years now. And, you can write the jokes and put them out there. But when you're doing crowd work, that is when you're really in the moment, you're really having fun. So it's almost a little bit like the comedy goes on autopilot when someone asks a question. And then I look at the cards. But it's funny that you mentioned memory because I think, my memory is okay. And my sister's like, no, no, you have the best memory ever. And a psychic exercise that I teach people is to do memory exercises on their phone, memory games, because the very first thought, the very first thing that comes into your mind is always right. And then it sort of gets covered with, oh, I shouldn't think that, or this is bad, or can I have a donut, whatever it is that comes in. So you have to be able to grab that very first thing.
I love that because as a coach, I have a lot of well, my audience or my clients are mostly women 50 plus, right? Let's say
Mhm.
solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, and I do work very much intuitively because they go, this is what I want to do. I want to create this, and they'll come to me and I'll go, I know you really want to do this, but this is what I'm feeling is like it's explosively great for you, right? And so I go, now they know that I'm going to go with that, with whatever I first feel that comes and is
Mhm.
downloaded, right? I don't market myself as a psychic or anything like that, but I pay homage to that intuition, right? Because it's so spot on,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
you found that as well. So your audience is like shaking, they're nodding their head, going, "Oh my gosh, yes, that's true, that's true." That's
Yes, but
right.
I would also say to do any kind of coaching, your intuition really does have to be on. If you're gonna, because otherwise you're just spouting out this seven rules that I read or someone told me to say. But because people are going to you because they can't really see themselves and
Yeah.
you can see all of them. So I think we use intuition. People don't understand how much we use intuition. Like the guys in the stock market, they're all using that type of intuition. Or a nurse might be like, I'm all science. No, you're not. You're making intuitive decisions as you go.
Yes. And I think we need to tap into that more as a human species, don't you?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
The way that we've been doing it for all these, centuries has kind of been a little wacky. And speaking of wacky, Karen, what's oh, have you covered in your stand-up bits and working with the audience, have you covered yet this whole thing that's happening in, well, it's not just the United States, apparently, the drone UFO orb thing that the government is gaslighting us all on?
Yes, yes. Well, it's funny because I have a podcast, but I usually tape ahead. And I have a friend who works at the Pentagon, and she's coming on to talk about it. But I would say, first of all, I think it's just us. It's just us.
Yeah,
And
I do too.
yeah, there's the plasma balls. There actually is a scientific analogy for it, but I think this is what if I I love dark doomsday type things.
Are you Scorpio too?
No, I'm a Leo, but and especially with like not politically, but I think this government, we have to burn it down. It's time to
Girl, I
burn
hear
it.
you. Mm.
And it's on the way. And I think that the drones are kind of a threat. Like, this is what, if we call martial law, that's what it's going to look like.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think they're just threatening us.
Great. Like we haven't been through enough already.
I
Oh,
know.
COVID, lockdowns.
I know. But did you see South Korea? Like they
Yeah,
overthrew the government in like an hour.
yeah. Americans won't do that though. We're too lazy. We're too much like,
I
oh, well, maybe someone else will do it. Right?
I have great faith in the next generation. The generation that people make fun of that say they're on the couch and they're not getting jobs.
Yeah.
I think they have a much greater sense. And I'm waiting for them to get mad and just be like, I'm done. I'm done.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about. I truly feel this. I got goosebumps. Oh, when I get my hair standing up, goosebumps. It means it's like yes. Right?
Those are your tarot cards.
It's like all the way up down my back of my neck, all the way down my legs. Okay, okay, I'll say it. Oh, Jesus, it's like it's like, come on, say it, spit it out. The the thing is, that's why TikTok is such a threat,
Mhm.
because I'm sorry, but and I was in radio, I was in broadcast journalism, I was at a public radio station, and I knew the way that the corporate media reports on things, makes up things, whatever.
Mhm.
The way that they put out stuff or don't talk about a story, completely miss it. They're talking about all this other stuff, what this celebrity's wearing, but they're not talking about a really important issue. TikTok has come to the front because there are people on the ground doing the videos, and it doesn't matter if it's in the Middle East or if it's in New Jersey over the skies, or North Carolina with all of that. We got that information from people posting on TikTok, not on Facebook, because that's censored. Facebook is, CIA book. Instagram,
Uh-huh.
YouTube is
Tick
the same,
X
right?
is the same, Twitter or whatever the hell it is. Yep.
Yeah. So TikTok, yes, there's some silly stuff on it, but there's some really powerful things, and that raises the vibration. Look at Diddy and Jay-Z and all that stuff, right? It's
Mhm.
TikTok that's bringing it, and I think that's why it's a threat. And so January 19th, what are your thoughts on this? Because it was, well, it was mentioned a while ago, and everybody put again, Americans, we go, we'll
Yeah.
kick it down the road. We'll deal with that when it comes, right?
Yeah.
But now January 19th, and then I just heard that the Supreme Court is willing to hear arguments. Not that they'll,
Mhm.
not that they'll do. I don't know. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
So I haven't pulled cards on that or anything yet. I feel
Oh,
like it's not, but I feel like there's an extension of some sort, or there is a way that we find around it. Okay. But I do want to say, and here's my deck right here. It sort of was in my radar, but not in my radar. And I feel like exactly what you feel like. I feel like all these free speech things, they're going to try and do away with fast. YouTube is also very censored. And I'm going to pull a card right now and say, will it be shut down on the January 19th?
ooh.
And I got a delay. Okay. I really think they are going to delay it, or there's going to be something because, I mean, first of all, I don't think the government cares about us. I think they're willing to put all these people, the small businesses that are making money out of it, they're doing
Yeah.
it. But I think they can't be that blatant yet.
I don't know. They got drones in the sky.
But I also wonder if the drones are the distraction.
Oh, I don't know. Look over here. Pay no attention to.
Yeah.
I think this, and I think 2020. I think this year is all about revealing. You know what? And I kind of want to go. Okay, you know, take away this from us. Take away that from us. We're gonna find a way. We're like cockroaches. We're gonna find a way to
Yeah.
communicate with each other,
Oh, yeah.
even if it has to be psychically, telepathically. We're gonna do it. You can have all your, you can have all your 5G towers. You can have all that. I'm such a conspiracy theorist. But
No, no, you're on my page. I'm
okay, okay,
exactly like
I'm
that. I believe
we're
all of
family.
it.
We're family. Okay. Yeah, I think something, and it was so funny because they're asking Trump about it, and Trump's like, "Well, I've got a soft spot for TikTok because it helped me reach young people during the election, and it did. It helped him during the election, right? But he was the one who originally banned it.
That's the thing. I do think he has dementia, and I think he's like, I don't know if you saw even the news today. It looks like Mike Johnson is out. I don't know what happened, but he was in. Now he looks like he's out. They're going to leave NATO. This is all craziness.
Yeah.
But I think if you catch Trump on the right day, he can't think forward. And I think he may save it because, all somebody has to do is tell him that that was the deep state and he'll have it back.
Well, also he as many narcissists are, and I had in one of our previous episodes on the TikTok influencers you really should know about, we had a wonderful psychic on, Kimberly Sherry, and she did an energy reading on Trump, and she did it on
Mm-hmm.
Kamala and a bunch of other people. celebrities. And she said she was going through, he has, he has zero rage. He is very much in the masculine. He is not in any feminine at all, right? But she said he's like 100% narcissist. But she was like saying he's a narcissist with a big heart. Now, I know about narcissists, and narcissists want to be loved, right? They need that. You're doing a great job. So if you have a lot of Americans, doesn't matter if they're red Americans or blue Americans, but you have a lot of Americans saying you'll be a hero if you do this, then he might do it for any other reason. Does that make sense?
It does. I would say one thing. I think he's 100% rage. That's why he doesn't sleep. I would say
Oh,
he's 100% rage.
really?
And yeah, and also the thing about Epstein's Island, I mean, he was the number one guy there. You can't have a big heart and do that to another person.
You're
That's the
right.
only part. But and I know a little bit of him and have seen him in Hollywood. And I think I think he runs on rage. But he may do a nice thing here or there, and agree with the narcissist thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think he has anyone's interest in except his. So
No,
you got that
oh,
right.
definitely. No,
Mm-hmm.
that's a
Mm-hmm.
narcissist too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could be lying on the floor dead, like dying, blood spurting out of you, and they'll just step right over you and go, go, look what you made me do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Plus,
Um,
I know a little bit about when he was in New York and when he was doing business. And there's yeah, yeah,
there's some skeletons in that closet.
yeah, yeah. There's a
I
lot
think they
there.
all, and I do, and I think because I went to Washington D.C. once, and it was when it was a break, and a lot of the vampires had gone to their districts, and so it was just like the workers.
The
Washington
worker
D.C.
bees, yeah.
Yeah, when the government is not in session, whatever, when they're on holiday, it's just the people that work in Washington D.C. that
Mm-hmm.
are there, and it's a really cool place to go when they're gone, right? But just the buildings and the walking around, I was like, this is the creepiest place,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this is
Mm-hmm.
our capital. This is right. It's something.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Well,
bizarre.
I would agree with you on it being creepy because I do believe all those things that really like almost that very few presidents are making decisions. I remember Bill Hicks used to say that like a guy like JFK gets elected and then they pull him in the back room and they go, "Hey, so here's how it's going to go. And this is what you have to do. And if you don't, we're going to assassinate you." And I believe that to be true because I feel like I saw the flip with Obama when he got in.
Yep.
You see the flip with, I think W knew it was going to happen or knew what it was. So I really do think they're not actually in charge. And I think that in sort of a bull in a china shop way, that's what Trump is supposed to do. I knew Trump was going to win. I predicted it like 3 times, but it still kind of bums me out because I just have to say my big issue like is I think women are so abused in this country, and
Mm,
I
mm,
that like his transition team, that I feel like I'm watching Adult Swim and it's called Sex Offenders and the Pick Me Girls, and
right.
I like it's a cartoon now. It's so obvious and bad. So it still kind of bummed me out, but I don't know. I think it just has to all go.
I think so. And maybe he and his minions that he's bringing in. Maybe that's the linchpin, right? Maybe that's the on
Yeah.
the Django Tower maybe that's the last piece that you put in and the whole thing
Yeah.
comes down, right? I
Yeah.
don't know. Who knows? We are just living in the weirdest times.
Mhm. Mhm.
I just
Yeah.
it's
It's
just
going to
so
be a tough
unusual.
year.
We did pick to come here though, didn't we? Didn't we choose to?
I Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that.
Or did we get the short stick, the short straw?
Uh, I kind of think, and I am an optimist, but I'm not. Comedy is always sort of you're a little on the darker side. And
Yes.
I do paranormal investigation. So I say I'm one of those people that straddles Okay.
Right.
I'm not quite the we make our own reality. I think that we can do the law of attraction, but I'm not quite on creating our own reality. You can't go over to Gaza and say, hey, you guys are not creating the right reality. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So I kind of think we have, but I also feel like if you're on Earth, you won somehow.
Mm.
Like, I
Mm.
think it's like we're in a movie. And when you're out of the movie, you're like, I'd love to be in a movie. And you kind of get to come down and experience a body. You get to choose not to come back. But I think this is the experience that we want. Like if I was to ask you something that happened in kindergarten, it would be something that was traumatic. You might be like, yeah, I barely remember that. I think that's what happens. They're like, I remember how bad you were treated on Earth. I kind of remember. I don't really know. I think it's like that.
Wow. I remember moments of kindergarten. And that girl that sat on the other side of the teeter totter, and I thought we were going to have fun, and then she jumped off of it, and
Jumped
then
up.
I hit my pelvis on the floor, and then it rocked my trust in any human being for the rest of my life.
Well, she'll go to hell. That's
She
fine.
will go to hell. She's there now. Karen, is it okay if we play a clip from your, because I
Sure.
would love to have our audience get to hear and see. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to get to see it, and you get to see my wonderful guest, Karen Rontowski.
Because we
But
got so heavy. This is
we
good.
did. Let's lighten her up a little bit. This is one of, okay, so this, let me just cue this up for you so you can, well, you probably, maybe you'll remember this and maybe you won't, but you get this a lot too, I think. You get, oh, when I'm going to retire. People really want to know when they're
Oh,
going to
yeah.
retire, right?
Retire, move, and love. That's like the big ones. Those are
Yeah,
the big three. And then when someone kind of gets off on a tangent, that's when it gets way more interesting. That's when it's really fun. But
I
those are the
love
three
it.
things.
I
Nobody
love it.
wants to work. Everybody wants to be in love. And that's about it.
Well, this is just a treat for our audience. I'll pull this up now. All right, let's listen to this. This is great. Again, this is another person wanting to know when they're going to retire. Hold on one second. Here we go.
Where you're going to retire? Okay, where? Where or when?
Not when, not a when.
Okay, oh my God, you got so defensive. I know fucking when. I'm going to walk in and pee on my boss's desk. I know when. You know what? Why aren't you staying here?
It's cold.
It's cold? All right. Is that a new thing that you just discovered? Or. No, I kind of think, this is really interesting, but I see different. I see staying and traveling. Have you thought about that? Have you? As soon as they take that bracelet off your ankle, you can go wherever you want. That is the first part of your retirement, okay? And that's a good thing to do because I don't know if Florida's going to be there much longer. And so start with that and then look at the Carolinas. Right? Is that what you were thinking, right? Yeah, Sarah.
See, you know what I'm doing. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yes.
So yeah, so retire. So people really, yeah, they want to know.
People want to retire. The other thing they will always ask is they will say, can you give me the lottery numbers? And I'm like, yeah,
Oh,
I've been
girl.
driving. I know I've been driving around in a 2009 Nissan Versa holding the lottery numbers for you. That's what I've been doing. But I always say, let me give you some other numbers. How about the number 3? That's the number of times you're going to have sex before you die. How about that number? How about 1? That's the number of times that other people will be there.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Oh, what a perfect way to wrap up this show. You have been so wonderful to join us today, and I really appreciate it. And again, we're going to make sure that we have a link to your TikTok page in the show notes, and anywhere you want me to send people, that'll be fine. Because
That'd be great. We covered the end of the world. We
yes,
covered the destruction and why we're on the planet. So I think we did it.
yes, and why Washington D.C. is the cesspool of vampires. We're good.
Yes.
We're
Yes.
good. After Homeland Security visits us, we're great.
I have had the FBI show up at my house, and you will not believe why.
Now you got to tell us.
So this was many years ago, before 9/11. And you never tell someone you're a comedian, like on an airplane or anything, because it always leads to, oh, tell me a joke or,
Ugh.
you know.
Yeah.
So I used to carry a business card, and all it said on it was Karen Rontowski, President of the United States. That's all it said. And it somehow the veterans got it. You know how they mailed you the return address and it would have your name on it and the address, but it had President of the United States on it. So I was like, well, I'll use them. And sure enough, somebody at the mail post office turned me into the FBI, and they showed up and held all my mail until I stopped it. And then when 9/11 happened, I must have been on a list because they held all my mail. I know, right? Like, I think they have better things to do, but that was funny.
That was some people would find that terrifying, but not Karen Rontowski. No.
No.
She's like, I'll use that in my bit.
I know. No, I haven't put in a bit yet, but I think I'm still on a list. I think they started differentiating the list, but I know I'm on somebody's list.
Listen, if FBI is listening right now, she is fine. She is not, she's a good, upstanding, decent person who follows and obeys all laws.
Well, not all, but listen, as long as you're laughing at my jokes, I don't care how much you guys follow me.
Ah, that's so great. And they are. She's really funny for being
They're having fun.
fake president of the United States.
Yes.
Karen, it's just been a pleasure. And you're welcome, welcome back anytime. Please come into my world more. My guest today has been Karen Rontowski. We are going to put a link to her TikTok page so you can follow and laugh along with her. And again, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. And everybody watch out for fakes. There's a million fakes. So it's at Rontowski, and we'll have the link there.
Yes. And you've got a very healthy following too. So if there's somebody called Karen Rontowski and they've got 14 followers, run. It's not the real Karen Rontowski.
Yes, and I don't email in broken English. I could speak English.
Okay. Thank you so much once again,
Thank
Karen.
you.
And I want to thank you, wonderful listeners and viewers, those that are watching on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. If you got a kick out of this and you want to share this with some folks, share this on your social media. That really helps get the word out. And stay tuned, because we've got more really amazing influencers that I think you should know about. So stay tuned for that. If you want to find more information about the show, you can go to thetiktokinfluencers.com. And if you want to find out more information about my coaching business, my media coaching business, you can go to christineblasdale.com. All those links will be in the show notes, so you don't have to remember anything. And you definitely don't have to spell Blasdale, because nobody can. So just check the show notes and you'll get all those links. All right. Until next time, remember to keep scrolling, because you never know when you're going to stumble across your next favorite creator, your next favorite influencer. All right. Take care, and we'll see you soon.